What up, peeps? Mr.Bones back at you, and it's day 25 of 31 Days of Hallowicked. And what we're talking about is 2020's Bad Candy. This is directed by Scott B. Hansen and Desiree Cannelli. Written by Desiree Cannell and Scott B. Hansen and Thak Hoffman. Starring Zach Galligan as Paul, who is Billy from Gremlins, and Corey Taylor as Chili Billy, who is the lead singer of Slipknot. The synopsis from IMDb says, on Halloween night, radio DJs Paul and Chili Billy tell a twisted anthology of terror-filled local myths that lead to a grim end for small-town residents. This is a cool little anthology based around Halloween and trick-or-treat stuff, and it's somewhat similar to Trick or Treat with Sam, but not quite. Doesn't quite get there like the beloved Trick or Treat that everyone loves. You got Chili Billy and Paul, the DJs of this local radio place, and they're celebrating Halloween and telling spooky tales of local myths, and so they're like the Crypt Keeper type deal that's telling the stories. And then you got this character that's similar to Sam, but doesn't have the charm of Sam. The big old, like 7-foot monstrous demon clown that seems to fuck you up if you don't like or respect Halloween, or if you're doing something wrong. At the beginning, there's this little bratty kid that's going around smashing everybody's jack-o'-lanterns and stealing candy and shit. So the demon clown gets a hold of him and shakes his head and like turns him into this little trick-or-treat figurine that he takes to somewhere where he has a collection of them, where he takes all the naughty kids, I guess. He has quite the figurine collection. And there's a bunch of intertwining stories of all these different people that live in this same little local small town. There is this one where this girl is dressed as a cop, and she's at a Halloween party, and she gets put into a closet with a douchebag, and she tells him how she feels about him. Then when she leaves, this guy is at her house with another guy trying to rob her. And then when she gets home, he starts beating on her and tries to rape her. The other guy leaves, says you're on your own, because he wasn't down with that. And she pretty much kicks his ass and shoots a nail gun in his foot and takes off running. And he follows her to the park, and the clown ends up wrapping a chain around his neck and strangling him, and then cutting him all to pieces. And then there's this another story about this chick that was dressed like a paramedic or something, and she works at a morgue. And she decides to go to work. Well, she is called into work, and she decides to straddle across a dead corpse. And I'm not fond of that story, so I fast forward past it, to be honest. And there's a story about a group of guys who went and kidnapped some pimps and hookers and other bad people, and they do this game every year, I guess, where they tie them up and then they send them loose to be prey to their one friend who turns into some kind of demon bat from hell every year. My favorite story that I forgot to mention was the first story, which is this little girl, and I'm drawing a blank on her name, but she kind of reminds me of Rhonda from Trick or Treat, and probably the witch outfit. But she has an abusive stepfather. Her mother has passed on, and she has an abusive stepfather that wants to keep her locked up in a room all the time and didn't want to let her trick or treat. And she has a special skill where she draws, and what she draws comes to life. She drew like this little fairy that was just trying to unlatch the door where it's locked, and she drew some kind of funny little gremlin monster thing that the father comes in and stomps the shit out of and smashes the fairy. But then she ends up drawing her mother, who comes back like some vengeful spirit and sucks his soul out, and that's pretty cool. This has several stories wrapped in one. That was my favorite part of the movie. and some of them I don't care for. Like I said, it doesn't quite get there like Trick or Treat, but it wants to be Trick or Treat. It's a fun watch. But yeah, that's what I watched for day 25. I recommend you check it out. It's worth at least one watch. It's like my second or third watch. Peace.